Hey friends, it is story time. We have a story today from our Whirl Story Bible, and this matches up to a lesson that we're going to be reading in church for the second Sunday of Lent. We're going to be reading a lesson about Abraham and Sarah, but the lesson actually starts before their names are Abraham and Sarah. Their names are really Abram and Sarai before God gives them new names. And we're going to read about them getting their new names and the promises that God makes for them. Everybody ready? Here is our story. Abram couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, but he was still awake. Abram prayed, God, you promised that Sarai and I would have a baby. We're very old now, and we still don't have a baby. Did you forget your covenant? Did you change your promise? God spoke to Abram. Don't be afraid. I haven't forgotten my covenant. You will have a child. Abram was frustrated. When, God? How long do we have to wait? God told Abram, go outside. Abram rolled out of bed and rubbed his eyes. He walked outside. Look up, God said. Count all of the stars in the sky, if you can. Abram frowned. God, no one can count all the stars. There are too many. God's voice was gentle. Abram, there are millions of stars in the sky. One day, millions of people will call you their father. Abram gulped. Millions of children won't fit under my tent, he said. God laughed. It will be many generations of people. You won't see them all during your life. Abram, I'm giving you a new name, God said. From now on, your name is Abraham, which means father of many. Sarai will be called Sarah. Someday, millions of people will call her their mother. Abram trusted God. God would keep this covenant. God does not break promises. Look at all those stars. Sarah looked at the wrinkles on her hands, and she touched Abraham's gray beard. They had waited so many years, but still no child. We're very old and we have no child, Sarah told Abraham. Did God forget about us? God promised we would have a baby, said Abraham, and God doesn't forget God's promises. Sarah sighed. She thought that maybe God had forgotten this time. Abraham wiped his sweaty forehead because it was so hot. He squinted across the desert. Who are they? Abraham wondered. 3 strangers walked toward him. Abraham bowed to the 3 men and invited them to stay. Please stay to rest and eat, Abraham told them. Sarah, visitors are here, Abraham called. Make some bread. Abraham rushed to the herd so that he could prepare meat and milk for them. The visitors rested under a shady tree. Abraham gave them water to wash their feet. Sarah shuffled around inside the tent. She mixed and patted and kneaded the bread dough. She listened to Abraham and the visitors. Where is your wife Sarah? One of the visitors asked. She's making bread to eat, said Abraham. The 3 visitors smiled. Soon she will be feeding a baby. Ha! Sarah laughed. I'm too old for that. The visitors heard Sarah laughing. Is anything too wonderful for the Lord? They asked her. Finally, God did give Sarah and Abraham a child, just as the visitors said, just as God had promised. And Sarah and Abraham named their baby son Isaac. Isaac means laughter. God keeps God's promises.